Recording in progress.
All right. I think that's our cue. Is everybody ready already?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's hit it. Hello, hello, and welcome back to our humble little podcast. This is Atlantis After Dark, the greatest place in all of cyberspace. Do you know what starts with a P and ends with an S, and most men have them, and most women want them? Pockets. I'll tell you what, I'm ready to go already. You guys are too, so let's not waste any more time. Maybe that was really lame. Let's get right into it, and let's meet today's All-Stars. Warming up in the bullpen, last week he spent some time in the clink. On his first day in jail, his cellmate said to him, "If you ever come close to me, I'll fucking skin you alive. When we're sleeping, don't you ever touch me, and especially don't fucking talk to me." He thought to himself, fucking great. It's my first day in here and I'm already married. It's Biff by Adam West. What's happening, dude?
Going on? I have never been arrested. I have been very lucky in my life. I've certainly done plenty that could have justified it. But I've always avoided the police.
Right. So well, there you go. There's a first
but
time
I have
for
been
everything.
married, and I do understand that sentiment.
You've been married in jail?
No, I've been
You're
married.
married. Okay.
No, I would call myself married in jail.
Oh, you're a card-carrying member of No Ma'am over there.
Oh, absolutely. By the way, I almost bought one of those T-shirts the other day.
Did you?
I came across on social media an Al Bundy clips account.
Right.
And whenever you click on the little videos, it sends you to like a store where you could buy. I almost bought a Polk High 33 jersey and a No Ma'am T-shirt.
Polk High 33.
And then I was like, you know what? Times are tough right now. I don't need to spend money on things I don't need.
Well, we're damn glad to have you anyway today, pal.
Happy to be here.
And I'm excited to get to the rest of the panel. Next up, he is the Sorcerer Supreme of cyberspace. Last week, he got arrested and put in jail. He dropped the soap in the shower on the first day. Another inmate, a real big son of a bitch with a cock like a python, handed it back to him and said, "Nice try, you ugly asshole." It's Retpmus. What's happening, Big Kahuna?
Just enjoying the day, man.
Enjoying
having
the
a
day.
pretty good weekend. Been having fun doing some stuff and just enjoying it for once.
Yeah. There's not a lot of snow outside. At least I don't think there is around where you are. It's not super cold. You just, kind of kick back a little bit for, what it's worth.
Watched a new movie last night. Actually took a break to watch one. I haven't watched one probably in about, 2-3 weeks.
What'd you see?
The Beekeeper.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty good. It's typical Jason Statham type film, but it's like if you would take one of his films and kind of mix it with John Wick a little bit.
Right.
It was really enjoyable. I liked it.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz about that film.
Yeah.
I
Where's the drums? Come on.
don't know. Do I have a... No, I have crickets. What do I have?
A cricket's fit too.
Yeah, I have a drum roll. I also have... There we go. There we go. I got to label my buttons. I use them so rarely. But it's good to have you back on the show today, buddy.
All right, good to be here.
All right. Up next, and last but not least, last week he was desperately horny, but he only had $5. So he went to the whorehouse anyway, and he asked what he could get. The madam said, she has a special in room 5 that he could have. Well, when he walked in, he saw a rabbit. He thought, well, no time like the present. He chased the rabbit around the room for 10 minutes, caught it, and fucked it. The next week he goes back and he says, hey, this time I have $10. The madam says, hey, this time you can go to room 6. He walked in and there's another dude sitting there on the bench. Pretty soon a curtain opens up and there's 2 women. They're making out and they're having hot sex. And they're like, wow, this is pretty insane, right? The other guy says, nah, you should have been here last week. There was some other guy chasing and fucking a rabbit. It's Sekju. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad I'm
Yes.
the only one that didn't get put in prison today. So
Did
that's
you?
a plus. What's up?
I said, but did you?
I'll,
Did
I'll,
I, did I,
You
I
got.
mean, I did fuck a rabbit, so
You did
know
fuck a
what?
rabbit.
I'll take prison over bestiality.
Biff, you silly man. Why not have both?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, they're not mutually exclusive.
Right. Sure, they can catch a rat in the clink and shove it up your ass or something.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of weird sex stuff, how Retmus was talking about seeing a movie last night. I watched a new movie last night too. Have you guys seen the description for the movie X on Netflix?
I watched it a long time
No.
ago. It's an older movie.
Yeah, I had never heard of it. My wife was like, "Oh, we should check that out. That's that's a crazy ass movie." So I put this on, and like I don't know what I'm getting into, and like our windows are open and stuff, and people are walking up and down our street. And there is just some like it's not like hardcore sex, but they're portraying a pornography film being filmed while it becomes horror eventually. But the first like hour and 20 minutes of this movie is basically like a softcore porno flick from like Skinamax. And I was like, "Can you please close the window just so the neighbors don't keep staring over?"
What's the
It's
name of
just
this movie? X?
X.
Yeah.
I just want to research.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I want to do some research on that movie.
Yeah, it's based like essentially it's a horror thriller about this crew that goes to make a porno in the 70s in Texas, and they end up just it becomes a horror movie. And I don't want to spoil the plot like beyond that because that's
Oh.
the description you get for Netflix.
Right.
But there you
Yeah,
go.
horror ruin the plot of a horror movie. Sure.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure you can gather where it goes. Like, group goes to make sex movie in Texas. I mean, anything
Right.
that happens in Texas and Florida, you know they're fucked. Like,
Yeah, they did a movie after that, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like shit gets real down there.
Exactly.
I'm telling you.
I listen to a radio show that they do these two Southern guys, and they do this spot at the end of their show called Hillbilly Headlines, and they bring up stories from around the country of like they generally start with a Florida man,
Oh, Florida
and
man.
the story was a Florida woman slipped and fell into her dumpster and couldn't get out, and the garbage company came, picked up the dumpster, and started compacting
Oh,
Holy
no.
shit.
her with her in it until they heard a scream. And I was like, what's wrong with people?
So she got Superman 3'd?
I don't know. No, you know what I thought of right
Funny.
away? I thought of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
fair
the
enough.
trash
You know,
Factory
when that,
Star
when that
Wars,
thing
yeah.
coming in and they're screaming and yelling.
Yeah, no.
We're all gonna be a lot thinner. Yeah. Man. Well, it sounds like everybody has got a good weekend watching some movies. I've been reading comics, and we'll get to that in
Nice.
just a little bit. Yeah, I've been on a kick lately. I've been reading a lot of comics. What did I buy recently? I've got Wonder Woman Dead Earth, which was a Black Label release, which is a fine comic. I hate the artwork, right? It's a lot to be desired in that for me. It's a personal taste thing. Other people might dig it. Good for them. I hate that artwork, but I love that story. What a fantastic comic book.
I saw that cover you posted. It has that like weird aesthetic that's kind of like the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns, like
Yeah,
sloppy. Like
sloppy.
Your fifth grader drew it and said, "Look, Mom, look what I made."
Right.
Like,
It's a sloppy rendition. Yeah.
Some people love it. I mean,
Yeah,
no judgment
exactly.
there.
You know, and more power to them. But I also bought the Justice League Elseworlds Volume 1, so I got to read about, I don't know, 7 or 8 different Elseworlds stories over the last week, which I thought was pretty good. I think my favorite one was the League of Justice, where they were all back in medieval times. I think that was a fantastic little tale, if you will, because it put the kids front and center of the story, and I always appreciate when that happens, because that's what comics are for, and you know, that's just me. That's just my take on it. Anyways, what I really wanted to talk about up front was today is also Super Bowl Sunday, or as I call it in Shea Troubet, the Stupid Bowl, because here's a bunch of millionaires getting out there giving each other CTE on the most televised event in the history of ever, and you might actually see a nipple slip. So
I can't wait.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. You know what? I am going to watch
Really,
the Super
really,
Bowl.
it's my
I'm going to
team's not-
watch it because I want to see Taylor Swift. I want
Oh,
to
you're
see
gonna
what
see her.
happens. Oh, I'm going to see her. I'm going to see plenty of her too. I hate
You can
Taylor
track her
Swift.
flight. Is she in yet? I think that what's her name? That you can go track her flight from Japan or some shit. That's been a
Yeah, but
hot button controversy.
Oh,
thing
has it? Oh, that's right. That's right. They track her
I heard
flights now.
yesterday they were debating if she was going to make it in time, but the early reports I heard was, I mean, she basically gains a day
Yeah,
as she flies over, so that it wasn't even going to be close. That she was going to be in it like around this time today.
I think they're capitalizing on the fact that 75% of her fan base can't do math, Biff.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, they're just fans. They can't do the math on it. They're like, oh, I just hope she makes it.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah.
Are you insulting Taylor Swift or
No,
Taylor
I'm
Swift
insulting
fans?
I'm insulting our
Oh,
population.
don't do not no.
Like 75% of all
AAD
people.
AAD is separating themselves from Sekju on this one. I do not need the Swifties after me.
Oh no,
Oh, God.
it's not directed specifically at the Swifties. It's more of a 75% of people in general just fucking can't do
Yeah.
math, so it
Okay.
carries over to all populations. So nothing personal. Swifties.
Yeah, and by the way, it must be
My nephew is a
must
Swiftie.
be really rough on that. I'm sure she's in coach.
Yeah.
You know, making
She's
that
roughing
flight.
it.
Well, she
Yeah.
sold the private jet, didn't she? So that was a
Well,
big news article this week too.
I
was
don't
the
know.
private jet got sold or something? 'cause-
Well, but that's now ordering a private jet's like ordering a pizza. They have all they have, like, no, but seriously, like that's the thing now. Like if I had that would be the one thing I would splurge on if I just became insanely wealthy, where I would just hire one of those, you know, whenever I flew, just hire one of those companies. Like it's just
Yeah.
a private jet that you hire. You basically like a, you know, somebody at a concert, you get to tell them what you want in there and fill the fridge with this, and this is what I want for the menu. And
Yeah.
like that would be a very nice thing to blow a lot of money on. That would be, you know, versus just traveling like a normal human, which is never any fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sure, it beats a covered wagon, but, you know,
Yes.
I mean, what are you going to do, right? Back in the old days when you made a trip across the country, you know, you made a trip across the country. It took you years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at those shows, kind of the prequel and everything of Yellowstone,
Yeah.
and showing how difficult it was to get across the country, and they kind of weren't even sure where the fuck they were going, and they're arguing along the way. No, we should go here, we should go there, and people
Yeah.
are dying left and right, and
Shit,
Wow.
there's a mountain.
Yeah.
Went the wrong way. Took a wrong
So-
turn at Albuquerque.
So I got to ask, and the reason I brought up the Super Bowl really is I didn't want to talk about, you know, Taylor Swift, but I wanted to get your guys' predictions right up front. So,
Okay.
Sekju, I'll start with you because you're in my top left-hand corner. Tell me, buddy, what is your prediction for this Super Bowl?
What I think is going to happen or what I want to happen?
No, what you think is going to happen, or just tell both. Actually, both. I'm interested in both.
What I want to happen is I'd like to see San Francisco win because I want Christian McCaffrey to get a Super Bowl ring. I think that
Right.
guy has been a workhorse his whole career. He's been like, if he's on your team in fantasy football, unless he's hurt, you are singing his praises. He seems like a nice guy outside the game. Like, I would just like to see him win. Plus, it would be fun to see another Mr. Irrelevant like Brock Purdy win the Super Bowl. That's always fun. What I think is going to happen, though, is the Chiefs are probably going to win. I think that their offense is very good, but again, it's just they have a lot of momentum on their side that I don't know that the 49ers do.
Yeah.
And again, it's a rematch, but the Chiefs have been there many more times recently than the 49ers. They're more experienced in that high pressure cooker situation. And I just think in general, they're probably going to win. It's kind of like an intangibles thing. Like on paper, I think the 49ers are a better team overall on paper, but
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs are the better team, and it's an intangible thing you can't really describe.
Yeah. Biff, what say you, buddy?
Well, as an avid gambler, I have already placed my bet. I placed that actually the day after, like with 2 weeks to go, because I liked where the line was at. So what I want to win and what I think is going to happen is one and the same, because you know when you bet on it, you want that to come out. So I have the Chiefs winning as well. I have
Okay.
the biggest problem, I think, for either side when you see the matchups of offense versus defense and all that stuff. I think the 49ers defense could have a rough day. So that's really where my head's at. I think the Kansas City defense is vastly underrated. What scares me about placing my bet on Kansas City is the 49ers really have played very poorly their last 2 playoff games. And that kind of sets up for maybe today's the day they put it back like they did during the regular season and have a really good game. And that scares me. But I do think, I'm not a Purdy basher by any stretch. Like a lot of these people, they don't like him because they think he has so many weapons around him. He's doing a fabulous job, but I could see kind of the clock striking midnight if San Francisco gets behind, the game's over. And they've gotten behind the last 2 games. So I think the first quarter for the 49ers is absolutely mission critical.
Interesting. I guess I would have expected at least one of you to have answered the 49ers at this point. Let's see if Retmus can break that streak.
You know what's interesting is the 49ers are a betting favorite in Vegas. Okay, so I have Chiefs plus 1.5. So if the Chiefs lose by 1, I still win. But the line in many places has gone up to 2.5. What's very interesting is when you hear even just doofuses like us talk about it, when you see people on TV and ESPN and Fox and all these sports places, everyone seems to be picking the Chiefs. That's the other thing that scares me. But yet Vegas still has the 49ers as the favorite, and they don't build those buildings because Vegas is wrong a lot.
Right.
So, the fact that they're still a betting favorite, the 49ers, and the spread hasn't changed a lot.
Interesting. Retmus, what about you, pal?
Be completely honest with you, I haven't been able to watch much, so neither one of them I'm not a fan of either one of the teams. I like all the teams. It doesn't matter. I mean, it could be, purple versus white in the Super Bowl, and it can still be enjoyable to me because I don't follow one specific team.
So you're going to watch it anyway, or are you going to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It just, like I said, with my work life and my schedule and stuff, I don't have time to do anything. So I don't have any teams that I've been following this year or one that's my favorite. But in the past, the 49ers, they were always one of my favorite teams. But I don't know what their stats are this year, how good they've been doing, or, vice versa for, the Chiefs. I just enjoy the game, everybody does. So,
they're both in the Super Bowl, so they've been playing. So they're
right.
They're,
Well, I
they're
mean,
having
like
a good
versus
year.
each other, like
Right.
stats versus
Right.
And Retmus, you are close enough geographically. Like, I will adopt you into the Steelers fold. You just let me know. And I'll
Steelers were my number one team all throughout my childhood, all the way up for probably 20, 30 years. They haven't wavered because, we don't have a team, for our state, and Steelers was the closest, so that was like always my pick. And I always, because like we were talking one time, when we were talking about college, and I chose was it Panthers?
Yeah.
Just because I like the Steelers, so I chose them, and it was against West Virginia, and they were like, "You traitor!"
The backyard brawl.
Yes, yes. I mean, everybody has their favorites, but like I said, it doesn't really matter who plays who, as long as it's enjoyable and it gets you on the edge of your seat, and there's like major turnovers and stuff, and you're like, oh, no way, I can't believe that happened type of moments. That's what you really look for in the games.
Yeah. As long as the game is exciting. And I think that's a sentiment that a lot of people share.
I'm expecting a controversial hit from Bosa on Mahomes that somehow rises into like writing controversy because either he gets penalized or some crazy shit on it won't be helmet to helmet, like it'll be helmet to shoulder, and they'll call roughing the passer. I know it's going to happen. I'm excited. I'm sure there's a bet on that in Vegas too.
Yeah.
I love there's a Buffalo Wild Wings commercial. It's really funny with this big buffalo, and they're sitting at the bar with this guy, and they're talking about, he goes, well, what if he hits him high? Well, roughing the passer. What if he hits him low? Roughing the passer. And he's like,
hit him in the middle.
Either way.
So it's like,
Roughing
What if he
the
tries him to the ground when he hits him in the middle, roughing the passer?
Yeah. For me, the one thing you just alluded to it, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see a ref controversy. I've had enough. I've had enough of all these jackasses thinking the NFL is rigged and want to complain and say, oh, they just wanted Taylor Swift in the game, so they gave the Chiefs all these breaks. That's the one thing I don't want to hear, because
Right.
tinfoil hat guy, I have no time for it.
They're everywhere.
This is too big a business for anyone to ever try to rig anything.
Yeah.
And as soon as anyone brings up rigged, I
You
completely
tune
tune
out.
them out.
Yeah, I
Well,
hear
you
you.
have
I
to
ju-
you have to like basically accept that every player would be in on it, because you couldn't just like you couldn't just rig it through the refs basically. Like that still has a percentage outcome, and like good teams overcome bad calls all the time.
Exactly.
So it's just one of those things where it's like you'd have to accept that every single player in the NFL is like, okay, I'm just pretending to go out there and play football. I know it's actually going to happen versus, it's just not it. What's the more realistic scenario?
Yeah. Well, regardless of what the case is, I hope everybody has a fun time watching the game today.
I will have a fun time eating.
I wish I
Yeah.
was eating.
Because I have a wonderful spread planned.
Meat with meat on the side,
Yeah.
served with a meat au jus.
Maybe a pepper here or there.
Right.
I'm making homemade smoked Gouda chili con queso
That
with
sounds
with
good.
homemade tortilla chips. I have slow smoked bacon wrapped little smokies that are basically little weenies.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will have both scorpion pepper buffalo wings, slow smoked, and also doing a habanero honey dry rub wing for those that don't want their keister on fire on Monday morning.
All sounds good to me.
When you mention those little smokies, I used to take this, I think it's Pillsbury Doughboy that
Yep.
made them, the croissants.
Yeah.
And I'd unwrap the croissants and I would just slice little pieces and roll them right into it, throw them right in the oven, make miniature pig in the blankets.
Yep.
And all those taste so good.
So with those little smokies, just from a previous restaurant stint, we had a bigger version of this we would run during Oktoberfest.
Mhm.
I would take a little smoky, a tiny strip of bacon, a dollop of Dijon mustard, a little bit of cheese, wrap it up and make it into like I forget what the name of it was, but it was like a wrapped pastry dish that we would always serve during Oktoberfest and cover it in beer and pork gravy.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh man, was that good! But holy shit, did my back hurt after like punching over these tiny little pastries, rolling these little smokies into these tiny little fucking croissant pockets. But it was always worth it.
Nice.
We
Yeah,
got the Pillsbury dough stuff too. For I'm doing half of them as pigs in a blanket, and then half of them as bacon wrapped.
Have you ever
okay.
had the bacon wrapped ones where they're like baked in almost like a sugar solution too, that it like glazes them? Like those are
Yeah.
really solid too.
I'm not big. The recipe I'm working on this one is it calls for brown sugar, because that on this for the dynamic you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't like sweeter stuff. So
Okay.
I'm using a different rub on the bacon wrap, just because I don't want the sweet part of it.
I look forward to the pictures.
Yes. By the way, if you look at the Caskin Smokehouse pictures right now, I had a little leftover bacon after wrapping all my smokies this morning. So I just smoked little medallions of my leftover bacon, and it came as just little discs.
Bacon
And it came-
snacks.
Came out amazing. If you see the picture, those pictures are already up.
Oh, Lurking's going to be
Yeah.
making fun of me because of my bacon obsession. I know it.
And now I'm starving.
That's
So
why we
I
started
guess
early.
right. So now I guess as good a time as any to pivot. We haven't even done our welcome to DC anything yet. So maybe we should kick things off by saying, let's get into some DC content. And I had a question for you guys this week, and I wanted you guys to kind of mull it over a little bit, have a little bit of time to think about it. But this week's posed question to the panel, and I'll give it up to each one of you guys to share your answers with me. But what I'm really talking about is a DC swap, right? Take one character in all of DC, in the entire continuity of DC universe, and swap them with one person in the Marvel universe, right? So who would you do that with, and why, or what would the consequences be, or what would the reasons be, or just explain yourself in whatever way you'd like to do it. But I want to start with my main man, Retpmus, because I know he's got a banger of an answer.
Well, it might not be a banger, but Sekju, I almost had the same idea. It was his second choice, but it was my first choice. I was going to do Captain America and Deathstroke. I was going to
Okay.
swap those two out because they're kind of similar in ways because, they both have the super soldier serum that gave them their ability. But the mentality that Deathstroke has, he's more of just like, I don't know, like a Punisher type character. It's just like he's just for himself, basically. It's not that he's truly a bad guy, but he gets the job done no matter what it takes type mentality, where Captain America has all the values and he stands up, for what's right and wrong. And I'd like to see Deathstroke as the leader of the Avengers and just carrying it out his style way and see how that would totally affect the whole line with him leading them and them having to follow him and do it how he does it. I just
Killing is
think,
really cool.
yeah, I just think it would be a really cool scenario to see that happen. I mean, that's pretty much the only reason why. I just
Yeah.
I like both characters, and I would like to see them led in that direction because there's a lot of times where taking it the true right way, that Captain America did was a fault in a certain scenario, to where it could end up letting people get killed or something because he just didn't take he didn't do what needed to be done, is what I'm saying. And to see how Deathstroke would handle that approach in leading the team, I just think it would make for a cool, like a what if story or, an Elseworlds type story. I'd like to
Yeah.
see that happen.
And I think that's an awesome choice because of the whole history with those two characters that, Deathstroke is a pastiche of Captain America. Like
Mhm.
they created him in DC to make fun of Captain America, essentially. Like if you injected a guy with some crazy Nazi theory, so like serum stuff, oh, he turned into a fucking lunatic psycho mercenary. Well, that makes a little more sense. Like, so I always thought that was a cool spin on those characters and the neat way that they're connected. And that's why I like that choice too.
Yeah, cool.
It is pretty exciting to think about. I never really envisioned Deathstroke in charge of the Avengers, but now that I have that vision in my head, I can't get it out.
Or if he was like in charge of the Thunderbolts or something like that too.
Yeah.
Story.
I would be kind of cool. I mean, that would make a good movie, wouldn't it? I mean,
I
I
bet
think
you
about
watch
that.
That would be the first Marvel movie I've ever watched.
Oh, Biff. All right, Biff. Why don't you go then? Why don't you tell us
Well,
what your
s-
characters would be?
Okay, so first of all, I don't have a lot of Marvel knowledge.
Right?
Because I just never, growing up, there were only two Marvel characters that ever resonated with me. So I had very little to choose from here. Um, and so where I went with it was my all-time favorite Marvel character. And I just thought of how he gets around and somebody I more replaced somebody I just want out of the DC universe, and I don't even know why. I have just such a dislike for this DC character. But I'm going to replace Blue Beetle with with the Silver Surfer.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
That's not a
okay.
bad
Because
one.
yeah, so I mean I think they move around, although it's different similarly, throughout the air and all that, although the surfer's surfing versus flying. But I Googled it. It was funny when you first put this question out, I Googled it, and it was fascinating to me that a lot of other people had the same conversation, that like who would win, Blue Beetle or Silver Surfer, and there was actually a lot of articles and nerd blogs and all these things, down to there's a place that like ranks, like there's an official ranking for superheroes that I had no idea, and they put Blue Beetle and Silver Surfer side by side, and Silver Surfer did win
Oh,
with
he
a
should.
higher with a higher ranking. They rate him on intelligence, strength, speed, durability, power, combat, and basically, Silver Surfer won almost, one in intelligence, one in strength, tied speed, durability, power, and tied in combat. So he was overall the winner. And I just, because I have so little allegiance to Marvel characters, I would love to see Silver Surfer in the DC universe. And as a secondary aside, I get to get rid of Blue Beetle. And I still have no idea why I don't like Blue Beetle, but I just don't.
Now, do we get Galactus in that package deal too as a villain that comes with Silver Surfer? Or do we just get the Surfer?
Well, you can have the villain too.
Okay, I'm just
Oh,
curious.
so we get Galactus too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Gotta
wanna
fight
see the
somebody.
DC
But
universe take on Galactus.
what villains does Blue Beetle have? I don't even know. Like,
Black
would they be
Beetle.
good? Oh, I've never understood Blue Beetle.
I like the character in general, but I don't know much about him either. I know more
Yeah.
about Ted Kord as Blue Beetle and the technological aspect more so than the mystical Scarab version that is the more modern version. So, I mean, I always liked the Ted Kord version, but I think I need to do more reading on the other one to see what the appeal is for people.
Yeah, once you do that reading, let me know.
I'll let you know. I don't
Because
think
I'm not doing it. I am interested in that comic AB said about the in the medieval times. That sounded interesting.
League of Justice. Yeah.
Yeah, I would read that well before I would read anything with Blue Beetle.
I think the whole Blue Beetle with the scarab thing has to do with kind of like how Dragon Ball Z is such a big hit. It's aliens coming to our planet, and doing battle and stuff. It's alien tech, that they have different versions of the scarab to do different things, and they're not a good race. They like take over. So it's kind of like I think it's that mentality that they like, but just because what was that?
The Saiyan thing.
Yeah.
Saiyan thing conquering planets.
Yeah, so
selling
it's kind of like they're conquering planets, but then you have the one that doesn't, and that's like the Goku, if you will, and that's
Yes.
the Blue Beetle. So I think it's kind of like that same mentality, like we get a piece of that alien tech and we use it against them and we're able to defeat them and rise up because of, the human spirit and stuff like that. I think that's the big, draw.
Yeah. And then Biff, didn't you watch Young Justice though? The show?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
Oh, you
No.
need to watch that.
You
It's
might want to
very
check that
good.
out. Season 2 might give you a reason to give a crap about Blue Beetle. Just saying. If
Oh.
you want to watch something DC, it's fun. Like I'm sure Woody would sign on to that and endorse that as well. All 4 seasons of Young Justice, I think you would dig them.
Yeah, they're very
who are
good.
Who are the main characters?
It's like all of the sidekicks basically. So like it starts off with the Flash, Robin, and Speedy from Green Arrow sidekick.
Yep.
Like going and they free Superboy and they form their own little team essentially. Like they get the clone version of Superboy out of Cadmus, and that's how the show starts. And then it follows it as it grows, and all the like sidekick heroes join their team and form like Young Justice, and eventually the Outsiders show up, other groups and known comic titles. And it's just cool. It's got Beast Boy in it eventually and everything, and it's
Animated, I assume.
yeah, animated. And then Blue Beetle becomes a major character, but the main characters throughout the whole show, I would say, are like Miss Martian and Superboy.
It's
Okay.
kind of
Nightwing too. Yeah,
right. It's kind of similar to the live action Titans, but it has more depth and more characters than the
Okay.
TV show did.
Oh, and
I
Biff,
would-
there's a lot of Legion of Doom featured.
Oh,
So
I
like
like that.
they
So there.
they do some
That
deep dives, like they give you like history of Vandal Savage and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's really
Well,
cool.
if only you told me they swapped the Silver Surfer for Blue Beetle, I'd be all in.
You'd be like,
That's a great
it's a dream
swap, though.
come
I like
true.
that.
Oh boy. Let's see. Sekju, have we gotten to you? We have not gotten to you yet.
Okay.
Let's do it, buddy.
All right, let's do it. So, along the same reasons why I liked the Deathstroke and the Captain America switch is the companies have a long history of poking fun at one another. Like Marvel has like 10 different versions of Superman out there that they have introduced over the years, just as well, here's our next Superman sort of thing. And one of those big ones that DC did back to Marvel that I would love to see the swap is Aquaman for Namor, because I
Okay.
feel like Aquaman in his original like version when he came into being was the pretty boy in the orange shirt, was the Super Friends version, super
Yeah.
wholesome, king of Atlantis, Arthur, goody two shoes. And I feel like every effort to make Aquaman cool has simply been an effort to move him towards what Namor has always been. So I feel like it would be neat to have Namor shift over. And again, you have a different sort of tone to the Kingdom of Atlantis. Namor is not going to be a fucking member of the Justice League.
No.
So like that throws a whole wrench into that dynamic into the DC universe. Namor, in my opinion, is somebody more likely to partner up with like Kahndaq and Black Adam and like an access against the Justice League or
Yeah.
like Amanda Waller. And I just think it would create an interesting dynamic to have this super powerful undersea kingdom that is kind of truly at odds with the surface. Like the only times that we see the Atlanteans at odds with the surface is the stories where Orm is in control. So I think it would be kind of cool to switch that around, have him be that sort of anti-hero where sometimes he helps when the world's a threat, but other times he is the threat. And I think that would be a really cool swap. Because again, I feel like every effort to make Aquaman cool has simply been a shift back towards making him more like Namor. And it makes sense that he wasn't more like Namor because they were making fun of Namor when they created Aquaman.
Right.
So I like that switch.
Right. So Aquaman is the ripoff, basically.
Yeah, well, and again, I wouldn't even say ripoff. There's some controversy with that, even in the comics. They came out around the same time, so you could argue maybe they were developing Aquaman at the same time as Namor, but it's always been treated like Aquaman was making fun of Namor, and DC kind of cribbed that character.
Wow. That's fun.
Yeah.
What a way to go to work.
Except the stupid little wings on his feet. I don't want the winged feet.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what that's about
that was
either.
always
But
weird. I don't know what that's all
Yeah,
about.
that is weird.
are they wings or are they fins?
I know they're little wings, like they're like little like Hermes wings or something like that. I don't understand what that's all about. But
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe when the person that created the comic book was thinking of the god Hermes when he
Yeah.
created it.
Probably. But I don't know. I just think it looks silly in today's
It
modern
does.
art.
Especially when he used those and it was like flying and floating, and you see the wings flap on his feet. That is so
Yeah.
weird.
Oh, and the fact that he could fly at like super speed, but those wings were so tiny. Like the aerodynamics of it didn't make any sense.
It doesn't
Like,
work. Mathematically, it's impossible.
Like,
Well,
how is he going so fast?
Wow.
He doesn't skip leg day.
Like he's literally got little sparrow wings on his ankles, and he's flying like keeping up with like super speed characters in Marvel or underwater. Like I get the swimming part because like even the Atlanteans aren't portrayed as like swimming super fast. They just like propel themselves through the water somehow. But what the hell? Those little tiny chicken wings.
Yeah, well.
Oh, see, my head's on chicken wings now.
Yeah,
'cause
I'm gonna have
little
some
chicken wings.
big chicken wings today. Not
Yeah,
little,
we're gonna-
not little Hermes chicken wings.
Super
Man.
I got nice
Toilet.
meaty.
We're already thinking about the bowl game and the snacks that we devour during said bowl game.
Sekju's thinking about the bowl game.
Yeah, Sekju's having a strong bowl game.
Sekju's having a strong bowl game. He's dominating the Super Bowl.
Superb owl.
That's right.
Is it in the shadows? The superb owl game when we celebrate the greatest of all the owls. See, Abel should have been here for this one. That would have been an even better joke. God damn it.
Damn. Well, let me ask you guys. Is there? I think this is a great discussion about the different characters we'd like to see in the universe. By the way, I have a pick, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yours, man.
It doesn't make any sense.
But we want to hear it.
Well, okay, fine.
The people want to know.
It has to make more sense than mine.
I don't know about that.
Yours makes perfect sense, Biff.
Yeah, yours makes perfect sense.
Silver Surfer's one of the most universally loved comic characters.
Well, but I don't.
Right.
But what I meant was I wasn't really taking it from the perspective of who would swap well for who based on lore. I was taking it, I want to get rid of this guy and I like this guy.
Well, but hey, Biff, you might have even stumbled into it correctly because Silver Surfer is another one of those characters that came to planets for his conquering like villain. He was the Herald of Galactus. So he would find a planet.
So they're
go like,
similar. They are similar in
Well,
that way.
Well,
The
where I
movie was
knew I was onto something was when I Googled it, and it was all over the place.
Yeah.
Like Blue Beetle versus Silver Surfer. I was like, holy
like
shit! There are a lot of
Google
people
has
talking about
returned
this.
5 million results.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I had like 5 pages on Google, like of all these
Wow.
different takes on. So
I was thinking about the Wonder Twins, AB.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of switching them with Aurora and North Star from the Canadian Alpha Flight.
Oh, that'd be
I
fun.
have no idea
Yeah.
who that is. I have to be honest.
They were
No.
Wolverine's first team, Alpha Flight.
Again, I
who are two, who
You're
are
losing
two
me.
people that have never been in my
Right.
kitchen, Alex?
I mean, I'm
Oh,
not
they're
I'm
pretty
not
cool.
so
I
deep into
mean-
Marvel's lore here, guys.
North Star, he's like it's fast, if not faster than Quicksilver is.
Is he really?
Yeah, and plus he shoots like sonic blasts and stuff. They're pretty cool teams, and they're twins. I was just thinking,
Oh, they're twins. Well, they have to be
it-
twins.
And they all rocked the maple leaf, so there is that too.
right?
Uh,
Yeah, so I was just thinking of like what other twins. First, I was thinking, of course, Magneto's kids, Wanda
oh yeah.
and Pietro.
Yeah.
I thought those two would be good to swap because I was going to try twins for twins,
Right.
But I don't know. For some reason, it was in my head because I actually had the toy figures of Aurora and North Star because I had the whole Alpha Flight with Sasquatch, and I had the whole team of figures. They came out with them, and I got them because I always liked the Alpha Flight team. And for some reason that popped in my head, and I was just like, well, I was just like, I wanted to Deathstroke, but I thought I did think of the Wonder Twins, and of course that made me think of you as well.
Well, I'm honored.
All right, AB, lay it on us. What were
Yeah.
yours,
Oh
though?
no.
What were
Okay.
yours?
Okay. Well, I'm so nervous because I feel like such a noob when it comes to all this. But my favorite Marvel character is depends on the day, but most days it's Doctor Doom,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
So
Very powerful.
yeah, and he is very powerful, and I've always wanted to see him in the DC universe. And I've often thought if there's any DC character that I would swap him out with that would make the most sense to swap him out with would be Felix Faust, because I want Doctor Doom to be a Wonder Woman villain.
Okay.
And I think just swapping them out, right? Like Doctor Doom doesn't have to have like his normal origin story. He can have any other origin story. He can be, Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom from Latveria, who is, suddenly this genius millionaire guy who has had a tale for the dark arts, and maybe he becomes a student of somebody down the road, like Damien Dark or something. Who knows? But you can morph it into a situation where he basically sells his soul for the devil in whatever way, shape, form, or fashion you want to imagine that being, and he costs him his pound of flesh, which is his face, which means he has to put the mask on any damn way. And that's maybe a bit of an obtuse origin story for him, but I would see him being a very, very powerful mystic healer, mystic wielder in the DC universe. Second to probably, none. I mean,
Yeah.
up there with Dr. Fate. You know what I mean? Like dude can go.
Mhm.
And
I mean,
that's-
even on the flip side about that, Felix Faust, he's a pretty powerful character in his own
He
right
is.
too.
He is.
And just think of the destruction that he would cause on the other side. Because I mean, the dude's been around since like what was it, like 5000 BC or something
yeah,
like that.
he's come a long way, baby.
Yeah, so I mean, both sides, because that's what I was thinking a little bit when we were making those decisions. Like, what would it be like, to
Yeah.
have the goody two shoes Captain America telling all these bad guys or villains, hey, no, we can't do that, and like in the movies when he would say language, and they just want to
Right.
like shoot him,
It's like, what? Movies?
Marvel
Yeah.
movies.
Marvel
Marvel
does.
movies?
No, you know what? I have seen a Marvel movie, and Retpmus just jogged my memory on that because I did, on a flight. on a long flight. I was flying to Vienna, Austria, and I needed to entertain myself for quite some time. So I did see Captain America. I have not seen any of the Avenger movies.
Captain America's a good movie.
The first one? Or-
The first one, yeah.
I think all three. I think honestly, I think Captain America is the best trilogy of the series.
Yeah.
I don't know which tree it was. He was in the middle of a war.
I think overall, out of all the comic book movies,
Like that, it was the one where he was at war.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, come on.
That's all of them. Yeah.
that's
It's
all
like-
of them.
It's like the Three's Company, where no, it's
So
the one
it's-
where there's a big misunderstanding.
So
Right.
here's
Right.
another question. Like, out of all the movies that have come out, like comic book wise, what is your favorite? Like if you had to pick one, it doesn't matter if it's Marvel or DC, what would you choose as your favorite one? Anybody? I'm just curious.
What, just favorite
Like
Of all
beginning
time?
comic movie?
Yeah, just one movie, like out of all the DC, all the Marvel,
Of all time.
yeah, of comic book movies, like what is your
Oh,
favorite?
mine's easy.
Superman.
Superman,
Yeah.
1978.
Yep.
Easy.
Yep. That's easy for me as well.
I mean,
Mine's-
even Kevin Feige or whatever his name is says he watches Superman the movie before he starts
Yeah.
every Marvel movie because that's his inspiration.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Okay, so we got three. What about you, Biff? Because
Wonder
I'm
Woman.
saying
First Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman's my
Oh,
second.
nice. Okay.
That's my
For-
second.
First Wonder Woman. I actually wanted last night was the first time I've given Wonder Woman 84 a second chance because I
Uh.
want to like it so much, even though it's not good.
Yeah.
But no, the first Wonder Woman is, and close second would probably be the Batman 66 movie.
I found
Gotcha.
84
Yeah.
gets more rewatchable. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times now, and I hate it less and less every time I watch.
Okay. Well, that was
I'm
that was what
finding
my
out-
goal was last night, and then I
Yeah.
got about an hour in, and I was very tired, so I went to
Yeah,
bed
I
and-
mean-
and taped the rest of it.
But I like that first Wonder Woman choice because that is a movie that even if I'm just sitting around and it comes on TNT or something, I'll watch it because it's
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And I look
That-
forward to all
That and the
scenes in-
first Aquaman, I watch if it's on.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun
Yeah.
movie. But if I had to pick, since we were talking about Marvel today, if I had to go with the Marvel one, I think my favorite one was the Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine would be the Captain America where he's at war.
Wait,
Way to
war in
narrow it
Germany
down.
or
I don't remember. I just remember there being soldiers around.
I do love the first Captain America movie, how they were able to put the classic uniform in that movie and make it
Oh
work.
yeah. That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
They whoever thought of how to do it that way, that was a great move. It was,
Can I tell you, Captain America is my least favorite comic book character of all time.
really?
Yeah. There's just nothing
come?
about him that appeals to me, that interests me.
As a kid, you never picked up a garbage can lid and pretend you were Captain America.
Nope.
Even
I-
like in snowball fights, you would hold the garbage can lid up to protect yourself.
It was
Wow.
never a thought. Never my first.
I
'cause
always loved
yeah.
Captain America.
No.
Because it was a shield. That's what made me
Yeah.
like him. It could have been any character, but just having that shield and being able to throw the shield and smack a guy, 20 feet away and it comes right back to him like a boomerang. I mean, I just love that whole concept.
AB,
Yeah.
have you ever seen the How It Should Have Ended videos on YouTube?
I've seen a couple of them here and there.
You should look up the superhero cafes where they make fun of Captain America.
Oh,
You
really?
will love them. Just
Okay.
just throwing it out there for you to look up later.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a man of the mind. And I had a tough time, honestly, watching the Captain America movies. I mean, I've watched them under duress, but I watched them,
Well,
and
See,
they were
AB,
just hard to watch.
Force it. I have yet to see Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle. I will not watch
It
it.
wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was very.
Yeah.
I mean, it should have been released.
Copy of Iron Man.
Well, I don't
Yes,
yes.
force myself to watch movies though. Maybe seems like he begrudgingly felt as though he had to watch Captain America.
In some case, yes, yeah. Because there's the thing. I really wanted to
But
see
it was a
Civil
good
War.
movie. You can't say it wasn't a good movie, AB.
Plus,
You
they
didn't
nailed
like it?
They nailed it with the Red Skull. I love that actor. Hugo Weaving.
Oh,
is-
Hugo Weaving.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
so
great.
good.
He is great. I don't know. I don't know. I'm ambivalent towards it. I looked at it more along the lines of I watched it to acquire information.
Yeah. But that's cool. I mean, that's why there's so many characters out there,
Yeah,
and it appeals to everybody. It's
yeah.
not for you, but I enjoy it,
I
and
wanted
that's
to
that's
kind of
what I
catch
like about
up
everything.
before we get into Civil War, because Civil War was coming out, and that's why I went back and watched those previous two movies, and that's why I was like, well, here I go. I guess I got to watch these because I don't want to be in the theater and be like, what did I miss?
The
I'm a
hell is
dumb.
happening?
Yeah, I'm the only dumbass in the theater doesn't know what's going on, So yeah,
like-
yeah.
Time to
In-
bake the donuts.
Yes, yes. It was an informational viewing at best.
Gotcha.
And no disrespect to people who like, Captain America
Yeah.
or other characters. Good for them, and I love it. I love the fact that there are people that love different shit, because if we all love the same shit.
You need to see the original Captain America cartoons. They are funny because it's like when Captain America raises his mighty shield. They have like this whole theme song at the beginning, and it's kind of like what we today would look at motion comics, where it's just like a
Right.
still, and then they just move the character to the side, like, but it's a still picture moving. And that's how the original ones were done back then, because they didn't do a lot of animation. And
Right.
I remember watching those, and I mean, these are old, but I just love the whole thing about the shield. I just always have.
You guys need to be more nationalistic. AB hates Captain America. Retmus is talking about Canadian superheroes we've never fucking heard of.
I can't believe you guys have never heard about, like, except of course Sekju, a man
Yeah.
well versed.
Yeah, Sekju would know. I'm just starting to, like I said earlier in the
I
show.
like both of those comic companies, so yes,
Yeah.
I usually
Yeah.
do.
Well, it's like I
Retmus
said
giving
earlier.
us lore on the Canadian twins and the Mountie.
The Mountie. I was trying to get back into reading comics, and I do read, casually, but I haven't gone into the hardcores. Like I said, I've been getting a whole bunch of some of the Elseworlds, and then one of the things that kind of sparked my question this time was the order of Stan Lee's Just Imagine series, and that was a series that he wrote for DC Comics that reimagined, Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and the Flash and Green Lantern, I think, as he would have written them using DC artists. And he writes them in his style. And if you like Stan Lee's style, you'll dig him.
Excelsior.
What's that?
An Excelsior.
Yes, Excelsior. I mean, it's cute, right? The difference between it is cute and campy versus, a little more serious, a little more earthbound, if you know what I mean. And I don't know if it's so much of a more of a lighthearted take, because his take on Batman thus far has not been lighthearted. That's been anything but lighthearted. But at the same time, he still finds a way to kind of lift the gravity in that. I don't know. It's weird. It's not your daddy's Batman. I'll put it like that. But anyways, that was the inspiration when I ordered that comic. I said, you know what? I'll ask the crew, what they think about, blah blah blah, because I think that'd be a fun conversation to have.
Well, I like your swap more than you gave yourself credit for. The whole
Really?
Dr. Felix Faust. Yeah, especially because Wonder Woman loves beating the shit out of doctors. You've got Dr.
Oh
Psycho.
yeah, Dr.
Dr.
Poison.
Doom.
Dr.
They could open a practice together.
Right? Meet the doctors.
Yeah.
Have their own little flash pan advertising campaign and everything.
Hey, AB, I got a question that we can use for the next show.
Okay.
What is one of the most obscure comic books that you enjoyed growing up that you think no one else has heard of, but you really enjoyed?
Oh.
That's what we could have as our question for next time, or one of them if you want.
That's not fair for Biff, though, because all
Yeah,
you're going to
that's not
any
fair.
character from
Yeah.
Marvel.
Oh, now I'm going to be like,
And he's
most
like, "You didn't know that."
obscure, the most obscure comic book is Batman.
Yeah, I think the most obscure I think I ever got was Swamp Thing, and that was about as obscure as I got.
Oh,
Okay.
That's one thing.
Gotcha.
Now, maybe just so I can answer the question, I'll catch up with the Canadian Tire Twins.
The Canadian, the Michelin star people.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I was just thinking in my head of like all the
No, but I'll
comic
tell you
books.
what, if you've got other ideas for that, by all means,
Okay,
drop them in our writers' room because
sure.
I'm always up for ideas on some of the questions we can kind of go around the room and ask. And I think it's fun. It's a fun discussion, so I'm happy with that. At any
So,
rate, go ahead. I'm sorry, buddy.
um, so aren't we supposed to be seeing like James Gunn's new stuff coming out? Like, what does anybody know when like the Creature Commanders, I think, was supposed to be his first one?
I think all that stuff because of the strikes and the writer strikes and everything.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think anything's really coming out till late this year or even early
Uh,
five. So we probably won't see a marketing blitz until this summer.
gotcha.
I would think. That's assuming that Discovery doesn't try to
But
sell Warner Brothers to someone else by then.
but you was if you were yeah. If you were thinking though, I mean, if you think Creature Commanders, it was all anime based, and I think they already had it all pretty much done because he was showing like the clips of all the cartoons, you know.
I don't know because they just announced the whole casting of that one actress as Cersei was only announced like a month or two ago. So how much work could be done if they're still casting voice actors?
Mm, could be.
And I mean
That's why I was asking if anybody knew anything
yeah,
about it.
I don't know. I mean, we could look it up, I guess, but we'll do it for the
It
next episode. We'll
yeah,
figure that out.
isn't it that's supposed to be on Max, a Max only series, wasn't it? Like
I
HBO
think so. Yeah,
Max's.
yeah, like
Okay.
unique to that platform.
Okay. All right, good deal.
And then I
yeah,
think I saw Superman Legacy is late 2025 at this point. If it makes it to that, like, because
right.
again, they're only starting, I think, shooting now.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know how it used to feel like movies took a lot longer for them to turn around, but now it seems like they start shooting a year and a half before it's in theaters, and I feel like it used to be like it would be like 3 years they were working on a movie usually.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Well, I guess a lot of stuff can be sped up now with, computers. So they just need to get the initial actors in there and get that part filmed, and
Yeah,
then everything else is pretty much post anymore.
yeah. Do all your shit against the green screen and get the hell out of here.
yeah, but that's been a big critique of the more recent Marvel movies. So hopefully that's not the route they're going to go. Is maybe put a little more substance into what they're
And hopefully, they don't even talk to the people that did the Flash.
doing. Well, apparently I was reading they want that director to do the Batman Brave and the Bold movie, which I don't
No.
get why you would want to give him work to do after that movie. I mean, there are parts of the Flash I did enjoy, so I'm not going to trash the whole thing, but it was not a good movie, and I would not give that director another chance at a DC property. But that's just me. I'm not a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
I don't,
let me tell you
maybe he's
something.
buddies with Gunn. Who knows? Maybe they're buddies.
Yeah,
A little
they're buddies.
nepotism going on there.
In Hollywood, never.
No.
Shit. Well, I'll tell you guys what. You guys have been far too entertaining for me to handle for one day. So I am going to take this thing around the corner, around the room, and let's get everybody's last words. And as per frickin' usual, Retmus, dude, we're starting with you. Turn it loose, bud.
All right. As usual, had a great time with you guys. Glad we have this little platform that we can always get together and just chat, BS a little bit. Always makes my day feel better. I just wanted to talk just like basically about my own experience, a little bit about work, home life, and your health. I got so wrapped up in actual work, hobbies and stuff that my hobbies actually became work. And so all my focus went on to things that I should have taken breaks for and taken time out for myself. But I guess I'm a little OCD in that area. I was getting to the point to where I'm not exaggerating this. I was actually sitting for 16 hours straight in a day. And the only time I would get up is to run and use the bathroom and come right back. And it got to the point to where my butt was actually sore after probably about a week doing that. But I just wasn't thinking because I was just so wrapped up and involved in my work that I didn't take any breaks at all. And I think just as any human, we can get wrapped up and involved in things that we love or we enjoy or that we have a sense that we have to complete or accomplish something, and we can let things slide. Like, oh, I forgot to eat a meal or something because I was wrapped up here. I'll eat something later, or I'm not getting up and moving around. I mean, there's people out there that get blood clots from sitting for so long. That stuff can happen. So I think sometimes we need to take that little bit of time for ourselves. And that's what I did this weekend. And I tell you what, I feel so much more refreshed. I have gotten so much more work done over these past 3 days just by taking a break and watching a movie with my family and talking a little bit. And then coming back to it, it was like my mind reset and I was able to focus more on my stuff. And I was way more productive than actually sitting there the whole time all day long. So I just think we all need to take a little bit of time for ourselves. Even set it like a little alarm in your phone if you have to, for it to go off like every 4 hours or something like that. Now, I'm speaking from my personal experience. Not everybody else is out there, but sometimes we do get wrapped up in stuff and we're, oblivious to what's going on in our surroundings because, you read a good book or you watch a movie or you do something, you focus on that and the whole world doesn't exist during that time. And that's kind of like where I was. Nothing else existed because I was just focused. So, and I just come to realize, and if it helps anybody out there, try it out, set a little alarm or some type of reminder, or tell someone, uh, your family member, or whoever's with you, a friend or whatever, hey, give me a buzz later on so we can do something. And in that way, you are forced to be yanked away and you'll be all the better for it.
Well said, buddy. Thank you very much. I echo that. Avoid the ass pain.
Yes.
Avoid the ass pain. All right, buddy. Thanks so much for being with us this week. Sekju, give us your take, pal. You're on mute.
You see, that's what happens when your bowl game is strong. So I'm going to keep it simple. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Be courteous to your friends and neighbors. If there's a 9-layer dip, eat some vino before you eat it. Be good to the other people in your personal space. I don't know. Just be nice. Everybody's so fucking mean these days about everything. So just be nice to somebody. You know what? Pick somebody you would otherwise not be nice to that is irritating you, and go out of your way to be nice to that person this week. Because that's like basically like the foundation of my life every day is dealing with people that I really don't want to be nice to, but I have to professionally. And then you got to make it authentic. So just be nice to people. It's not that hard, and it makes every day go smoother. But yeah. That's all I got for you. I'm going to go back on mute.
That sounds terrible. No, I'm kidding, buddy. Oh, thank you so much. You are once again the man. And Biff, because we never let you close the show.
This is the first time I've ever.
I know. I thought, what a way to close the day than to give it to the Biff.
Yeah. Well, a couple of things that I just, Sekju just said something that was just completely just opposite, like forcing himself to be authentic. That's a really hard thing to do. I don't know if that's possible. But as far as what Retpmus said, sometimes you just need a refresh. I've been fortunate enough financially to be able to take a sabbatical from corporate hell. I've been out of official work, although I've been doing many awesome projects that have completely refilled my cup. But I've been officially out of work for 11 months. And I can tell you, Rhett, I am so much more spot on with what I'm doing, how I'm making an impact in my field right now than I have ever been, because I was so burnt out and so just, I had no productivity. I was not making a difference in the world. Taking a break allowed me to recharge. And not everyone can be out of work for 11 months and take that time to recharge. But even, Rhett, as you said, even if it's just a weekend of, getting away, doing something different, you were spot on about what you said. But just to close it up, enjoy the game today. Even if you're not a football fan, watch the pageantry. There is something about things that are being done at the highest level that can be intriguing, even if you don't know what what an RPO is, or a sideline pattern, or whatever. There's something about watching things done at the highest level, like you people just got for the last hour, hearing podcasting at the highest level. That's a lot of fun. So enjoy the pageantry. Enjoy. I apologize for my partner Sekju getting on the Swifties earlier. Enjoy seeing them pan to Taylor Swift for 4 seconds, about 30 times, and enjoy the commercials. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the food. That's it.
That's it. We should just call this thing the Swifty Bowl.
Don't be dumping that Swifty thing on me again. I clarified.
The Swifty Bowl.
Like I said, my nephew's a Swifty. He's a great kid. He can do math. Again, 75% of the United States fucking sucks at math. It's statistical.
She will make it. You don't need to track her plane. I promise.
She's gonna make it. Don't worry. She'll be wearing number 13, I'm sure.
And I heard in those private planes, you get extra peanuts.
Have you guys seen how much those commercials actually cost to air?
Oh, I haven't looked it up recently. I remember like a decade ago, it was like $2.5 million for a 30-second spot.
$7 million now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
$7 million for that 30 little seconds. I mean, think how insane that is, man.
It's the
that's originally
Bowl.
what my major was in college was TV advertising. That's what I was going to do until I found out that you had to make coffee until you're like 45 before you get a break. You're just basically an intern until you're in the business for 25 years. And I got out of it. But yeah,
I think that's probably why all the commercials are so good, because they're like, if we're spending $7 million for 30 seconds, we're going to make the best damn
by the way,
commercial.
those companies, I've been in meetings like that. Those companies, like if you're whoever, if you're Budweiser, or that's a bad example for me because I hate Budweiser, but if you're Coors Light or whatever, and you're hiring this agency to build your Super Bowl spots, they go in there with like 5 ideas. And they show them to them, and if Coors is like, no, I'm not spending fucking $7 million on that, back to the drawing board, asshole.
Right.
Like that is, you have to, wow, that is like one of the toughest sales pitches in the world, is these marketing companies pitching their commercial ideas to these people that have to fit the bill, because not only is it $7 million, they have to pay that agency a shit ton of money to create the damn ad. Now you see they're spending advertising dollars right now leading up to today, teasing their Super Bowl ad. I saw State Farm the other day was teasing their ad for today. They're buying an ad, teasing their ad.
It's a trailer for a commercial, basically.
Yeah, so it's big business. Big fucking business.
But imagine like the return on one where you don't have to spend an insane amount of money. Like, what was the one ad they did last year? See, now I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot because I'm high and I can't remember the name of the company. But it like changed the channel, made it look like you had changed the channel to like Pluto TV or to one of those free TV services. I can't remember the name of it though, so clearly that didn't work. But like that was so marketable, and it had to be cheap because all it was digital effects of, oops, you changed the channel and it looks like you changed the channel. And that's it. So all they had to do was spend on the essentially the spot. So I mean that had to be brilliant. Shit, what is the name of that TV program? Fuck. Does everyone remember the ad I'm talking about where it made it look like the channel changed and like everybody was freaking out for a second like they had just missed a huge play?
No.
Shit. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Is it Tubi? I think Tubi was the advertiser.
Oh.
And like they made it look like the channel had been changed, and like even an NFL player tweeted that he was about to slap his mother-in-law because he thought he the channel in the middle of the play.
Oh, it's funny.
That's hardcore.
Yeah,
we haven't got that yet.
I think it was Tubi. I could be mistaken, but I was like, holy shit, is that brilliant marketing? Because like everybody was talking about that commercial for at least the day after and a few weeks after even, because it was brilliant. But apparently if I can't remember the name of the company, it wasn't brilliant enough. a year later.
I don't remember what commercial it was, but I liked the one where the little kid was Darth Vader, and he like holds his hand up and
Yeah,
like
he's using the
yeah,
force to open the car. Yeah.
yeah, and he turned it on and everything. I forget what what car commercial that was for,
There's so many car ads during
but
the Super Bowl too. It's
I
hard.
love the little kid because he's like looking around as Darth Vader, like, what the heck just happened? It was cute. It was a little cute. Of course, the Doritos commercials are always good. They come out with some crazy ones.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what's up this time because I actually look forward to the commercials so much because they're
Oh,
good.
yeah. Yeah, no, I know. I look forward to the commercials too. I think that they're pretty hysterical, and I think a lot of people just watch for the commercials too.
Oh
If you're
yeah.
not a football fan, you just watch to see what the hell they're gonna do.
Uh oh, what about the one Jason Momoa? Remember the Rocket Mortgage one where he's all
Oh,
buff
he
and
just starts taking off pieces of his body, and he ends up being like bald and like thin as hell. Yeah, like that was hysterical.
and his wife's helping him bench just the bar.
Yeah.
But see, stuff like that's kind of cool. You know, they come in there with an ad like that, and they're like, "Here's our pitch. We have Jason Momoa come in all buff, you know, showing how ripped he is, and then he rips it off, and he's a skinny, scrawny little dude."
Yeah. No, that's again, that's a memorable commercial. So you talk about it later.
Yeah.
Like Geico, everybody knows the Geico ads, and that the gecko's been around forever. Like, you know, they just reigned in American culture.
The first one I remember, and it always sticks in my head, are the squirrels. You know, because like the cars come by and the squirrel runs out and it crashes and the squirrels run over to each other and they fist bump each other and they give each other a thumbs up because they crashed the car.
The Geico squirrels, yeah.
Yes. I love that commercial. If you haven't seen that one.
Oh, I have.
That one's hilarious because, you know, they're seeing them like bumping each other and like, yeah, we did it.
My wife and I, when we were sitting last night, do you remember the Move Over Butter commercials from the 90s?
Yes.
We just randomly were talking about that the other day and looked one up on YouTube. You could look up these old commercials and it is fucking hysterical. Like to look up some of these old ads. And like, let me tell you that marketing was on point in the 90s. They were on point. Like all of those old ads are great.
Man.
Are we still recording for the show?
Yeah. I mean, we haven't stopped the show. Technically, we're still going.
Oops.
It's all good. It's all good. We can take it down now because I'm sure that we've probably lost most of the audience. Thanks for sticking with us, guys. We appreciate it.
Sorry about that.
Fuck.
Oh my God. We want to thank all of you for taking the time to be with us today. Get on our website, AtlantisAfterDark.com. Grab some cool swag from the merch store. Get on Discord, talk directly with us, and then hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. For Biff, for Retpmus, for Sekju, we'll see you guys all right here next time for another incredibly spectacular episode of AAD. So long, everybody.